Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is the 10th of March, and it is a Monday. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my stitching this morning, my plans for the rest of the day, and our activities. Now, Coco may be barking here for a little bit because there are gentlemen down in our kitchen putting our countertops on, and she has been barking a lot, and now she's gotten kind of quiet. So I'm hoping that she's through alarming me that they're here and she realizes that I'm not paying any attention. And she'll be quiet. We'll see. Anyway, today I have a list of things that I want to get accomplished. And one of the first things on that list was my bingo stitching for the day. My bingo call for the day was an actual specific whip, Rosie Rhapsody. It was my birthday start this year, and I'll remind you what it looks like. I'm going to stitch just down to here for a particular frame that I have in mind. I'm sorry, Coco. And I'm doing mine on a beautiful opalescent fabric. It's a linen, and it's called Box Turtle Opalescent. It's from Dames of the Needle. It's 32 count. And the floss that I'm using is a Silken Colors, and it is camouflage green. So it's highly variegated in different shades of green. And I think they look beautiful on there. I'm very happy with that. And I've actually started it in the top corner, so that's the way it goes. And today I needed to do 100 stitches in it, and I did 165. So I feel really, really good about that. And the next time I pick it up, I will continue working on that motif in the corner and then work my way around to the other side. I did make a working copy of it today because I really felt like I needed to mark where I was so I wouldn't lose my place. And I'm glad that I took the time to do that. This is the beautiful silk. And so that's the first thing I've gotten done. I wanted to just jump on here to let you know that, though, because I wasn't sure how quiet Coco's going to be, how much she's going to let me do. She's sitting over there on her chair. She's kind of looking at me mad. But anyway, we'll go from there. I did work on a video first thing this morning too, and was able to upload it. So that's good. Got that out there for you to see what I've been doing. And now this will start the first segment of our next one. And it should be a busy week. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, I'm going to let you get back to hopefully stitching or crafting in some way. And then I will pick up my next item on my list, decide what it is I want to tackle next, and get busy. And hopefully I can come back later today and share it with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina. Today is the 11th of March, and I am here to update you on some stitching that has occurred today. First of all, I will talk to you about my December quilt. This was my final stitching for that week of the British Bake Off Championship. And if you recall, I am working on this December quilt for my friend who collects these little beautiful Raggedy Ann dolls. And I had to put in 100, well, for my Bringo, it was actually 225 stitches. And I wound up getting in 263 stitches. So I did a little more than required, but I finished off one of the colors. So let me share that with you. I started working on another section of this beautiful quilt. And the wonderful thing is that right in here, it isn't there yet, but right underneath here is where the little Raggedy Ann doll sits. And the wagon goes across here. So I'm trying to work my way across and down. And right here is the gap there for the railing the landing, I guess you would call it, handrails of the stairway. So it's getting there. This will be the final big panel of the quilt going in this direction, and then you get into the banister, and then underneath it is when you get down to the wagon and the toys and that sort of thing. But I actually have quilting and banister to go on both sides here before I can go on down. But I felt like that was great because I did all the colors in here except the white. So now when I get ready to stitch on it, it's just fill in all the way down. And I'll finish that piece of this quilt, and then I'll come on over and I can do one here and one here, and I'll be ready to move on down. So this, I was hoping to have this ready for her by next Christmas, and I do think I'll be able to do that. I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to do that. So there we are. And that completed that week's British Bake Off. So then the next week of British Bake Off is week 7, and I went ahead and watched it because that would be this weekend. And this weekend I'm going to be traveling to see my son. So I am very excited about that, but I won't have time necessarily to stitch on all these British Bake Off assignments, because that means I'd have to take just about, all these whips with me. So I went ahead and watched week 7, and as it turns out, the biggest amount of stitching was on Hawk Run Hollow. That baker, Kim Joy, had gotten last in technical, but then she wound up being the star baker that day and had a handshake. So she had a great day other than the technical challenge. And so that was a total of 325 stitches that I had to do in here. And I wound up doing 580. So I'm excited. Let me show you where it got me to. I can now officially say I think this is fully halfway done. I really think so. Because this is the first hill, and there are a couple of other hills back here, but there's a big house in the background here. But it's almost full coverage right across the bottom, and that's a nice big chunk of it there. So that is excellent progress. And I think I can count it as having met my monthly requirement of half of that square. So, and the good news is today's call also on my bingo board was to stitch on a monthly requirement. And so Hawk Run Hollow fit the bill, and I only needed 100 of those 500 stitches for that. So that worked out really, really well. So I'm going to be taking this with me. This is my bingo board for my local game that I'm doing. For this week's Bake Off stitching, I have left 75 stitches in Summer Treats, 75 in that one because unfortunately John was sent home, and that's the baker that is paired with that one. And then I have also to stitch 100 stitches on my banner, a banner year, because the baker associated with that was first in technical. So I need to do 100 stitches on it. Now, that one's going to be easy enough to take with me tomorrow. So I'm planning on stitching on that in the car on the way to finish that. And I'll have it with me to work on. And then, but I think I'm going to pull out my Summer Treats here in a minute and see if I can't put 75 stitches in it at least. And that will do that baking requirement, which will be fabulous. So let's talk about what am I taking with me. Well, I mentioned a few things already that I was taking. I am taking with me several things that are on Q-Snaps. I'm taking my January wordplay. I'm taking my Christmas stockings, my 3 French hens. And I'm taking both of those because my friend that runs the local bingo game has been kind enough to give me the numbers that will be called, not in the order that they'll be called, but the numbers that will be called while I'm traveling, so I can take them with me and work on them. So I'm very grateful for that. I don't want to be way behind when I get back home. So I'm happy about that. I am taking with me the gift I'm stitching on for my sister because that's on a Q-snap. And I can work on that as well, at least a day or two. And I think I'm going to take Miss Christmas Eve with me. My Zoom call last night, I let everybody that was on the call when we were talking about it vote between Miss Christmas Eve and Royal Games 2 that I should take with me, because since I'm in my car, I can take my floor stand with me, or at least my table stand, and my table stand will hold one of those big things, so I can do it. So I think I will take Miss Christmas Eve, since that was everybody's vote. They feel it's closest to the finish, and they want to see me push it on as close to finishing it as possible. And I need to put 500 stitches in that, which will be awesome. And so I'm thinking that my assignment today for myself is to put 75 stitches in Summer Treats and put it away. And then I'm planning on possibly pulling out my Royal Games 2 and putting some stitches in it tonight before I leave town. And that way I will have at least part of the Marches section on that one completed. We shall see. And who knows, I may decide to take it with me as well. I've got plenty of room in the car, so I'm okay. I can do that if I want to. Okay, so talked to my son this morning. It was sort of one of those, got a little bit of bad news, but it's not terrible. His work schedule has changed, and so I haven't even told my husband yet. We have to talk about it, but we thought we were going to have 3 days with him, and we were going to pick him up first thing Monday morning and bring him here, and he would have Monday and Tuesday with us and then drive home Wednesday. And they have someone that's ill at work and needs some extra time off, and so my son has been asked to give up Wednesday to come on back Tuesday. And so that means, you know, if we pick him up Monday morning, we'll drive here for 5 hours, and then, you know, he'll turn right around the next day and drive 5 hours back home. He did assure me today that he wouldn't have to leave until mid-afternoon, that as long as he got home by 10 o'clock, he was fine. I hate for him to be driving that late. I also hate to not have more time with him. So I asked him, could we come get him while we're at the beach? Would he have time that we could come get him and let him stay with us for a little while? And he said no, that he's working a lot of this person's shift, if not all of them. And he's probably going to be working 7 days before he gets to come home with us. So I need to talk to my husband about it, but I would really like to pick my son up early Monday morning, and we're an hour and a half away from him. But I would like it if we could leave around 6 or 7 in the morning to pick him up around 9 in the morning, and that we could get here by lunchtime. I would feel better if we could do that. I feel like we would have at least a full, 48 hours with him. So we'll see. So, a little change, but not devastating. And we will still have our trip to the beach, and we'll still get our son and some time with him, and he'll still get his car, which he's very eager to do. So we'll see how that goes. Well, that's it. That's it for now. I really need to get busy packing. My clothes are all done, but my stitching is the last thing always, because I hate packing up all my stitching, because then I feel like I can't do anything. Everything's packed. It's really not. I have a travel set of everything, but I do feel that way. I always wait to the last minute to pack my stitching, or the last bit of it anyway. So I hope you're having a good start to your week. I've had a lovely day yesterday, and today the plumber is here as we speak. My husband's working with him downstairs to reconnect our sink, our garbage disposal, and our dishwasher all together, and make sure everything's working properly so we don't accidentally flood ourselves. And then once we get back home, my husband can put up our backsplash above our new countertop, and our kitchen should be ready to go. So I'll be back in business. Anyway, I'll let you go continue your crafting and hopefully have more stitching to share with you very soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina. It is the 13th of March, and I am in St. Simons, Georgia. My husband and I are staying at a Airbnb, and we are spending a few days here in St. Simons before we pick our son up to head back to Gainesville so he can get his car. The good news is, on our way down from Gainesville to St. Simons, we were able to swing through where he lives in Statesboro, Georgia, and take him to lunch, which was great. So we got to see him a little early, which was nice. And we spent about an hour with him having lunch and chatting and visiting. And then we headed on down here. We're at a different location than we've ever been before because the house we normally rent, we rent from friends that we knew back in Warner Robins, Georgia. But they are remodeling their place here in St. Simons. We actually rode by there yesterday to see what work was going on, and the workmen were there and they were starting to really get going on it. So we can't wait to see the changes that they've made. So we got in last evening and then got settled in. We just went to Chick-fil-A and got some of that wonderful chicken tortilla soup for dinner. And then came on over here. And I started stitching. I'm in this lovely dining room, living room combination here. You can see the door to the back area where there's a beautiful table out there. And I have a chair here right in front of the TV. TV's right over to my side here. And I have a table right next to me, and I was able to bring my floor stand, which is wonderful. So I started working on my January wordplay yesterday for a bingo call. I had to work on one of my projects that were for my baking championship. And so I worked on it and I posted it yesterday. And then today I realized that I was almost finished with it. And even though it's in my baking championship, the whole idea there is to get these things done. And I decided I would just stitch on it the rest of the day today because my call for today is one of a series. And this is one of a series. This is January out of all 12 months. And so I can count today as well for the number that I needed. And so I went ahead and I finished it. Now I've brightened mine up just slightly, not too much more. I put it on blue fabric and I changed a few of the colors, and I'm gonna have to put something behind it here, or you're not gonna be able to see it. So there it is. So there's my little finish on my January wordplay. And I think when I get home, I'm gonna get some of my sparkle blending filament, and I'm going to run it through the snowman just every so often because I'd like to see it sparkle. But that'll be the last thing I do. But this is a finish. This is done. Everything that's supposed to be there is there. And I really like it. So that's a finish, my first finish since I've been here, which is wonderful. I'm going to take a picture of it in a few seconds here and post it in my bingo group, and that'll be my acrostic or my bingo stitching that's required. Tonight, my husband and I are going to our favorite restaurant of all time down here in St. Simons. It's the Georgia Sea Grill, and we try to go there whenever we come here as our big meal out, something that we think is special, something that we look forward to, and that's tonight at 5 o'clock, so I'm pretty excited about that. But until then, I am going to be stitching, and so I'm going to pull out my next thing that I want to work on, and that is going to be, possibly, depends on if I can see on the black fabric, my three French hens, because I'd like to see that get finished. Now I'm looking to see, do I have another call on here? I do. I have another call for, no, I have a call for an autumn or winter project. So I might need to save it for that. We shall see. We shall see. But I have plenty to stitch on. Not to worry. I brought several things with me. So I'll let it be a surprise for you as to what I stitch on next. But I just wanted to come by and say we had a safe trip here. We got to see our son, and that I've been stitching, and I'm looking forward to our nice dinner this evening. We watched Survivor last night live. We normally have to watch it the night after because we don't get the local channels. We don't have cable. And so we have to wait and let it stream the next night. So we watched it live last night. That was a treat. It's the small things that make us so happy. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm having a great time here. My husband took a run today, which was lovely. He enjoyed that a great deal. And he may try to do that almost every day while he's here if he can. So that's okay too. Anyway, I'll let you get back to what you were doing, and I'll come back again when I have something else to share with you. So in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. It is March 15th, and I'm here to tell you about some stitching today. I'm still in St. Simon's. We will be here for about 2 more days, and it's kind of a good thing we are, I guess, because there are tornado warnings coming all up through Alabama and Atlanta, and even up through where we live in Gainesville, and we're not there. So don't know if that means that we're going to come back to a bunch of damage or what, but let's hope not. However, our weather here calls for a little bit of rain tomorrow, and that's about it. So today we had a wonderful day. We went to a lovely seafood restaurant for lunch, and I'm not sure what we'll wind up doing later in the day, but I don't know if you can see him outside right here. My husband is outside working on a paint by number that a friend gifted him. I think it's of a trail scene or something. Anyway, he's trying to put some paint into it. Right now, I think he's taking a break and he's on his phone. But I think that's kind of funny. But yesterday, I started working on one of my pieces for a call on my bingo game. And it was to work on something, I forget now which one it was. It was one of my prompts for an acrostic. And, well, that was for today, I believe. And so I worked on it, and I got that stitched up today. I was able to work on two for 2 prompts in a row. One was that it had to be for a British Games, one of my British Games projects, and the other one was it had to be for an acrostic. And because I used this one for both, I could stitch on it 2 days in a row. And I wanted to do that because, surprisingly, I got so much stitching in it this week while I've been here at the beach, because I've used it for my bingo game twice, and I've used it for an acrostic once, that I just kept working on this. If you recall, and I'll say this softly because he's right outside, I'm working on this for my husband's birthday. He doesn't know that. And this is the one I am planning on finishing off in the clock face on a big bicycle that would go on the wall. Except I'm taking the clock face out, and I'm going to put this in the circle. So I have not stitched the words summer treats underneath it because it's really for his birthday. And I don't think that it necessarily would go well to have summer treats at the bottom. I don't think it'll fit, and I don't necessarily want it to just say it's ice cream, it's a summer treat. I really want it to be a gift to him for his birthday. And the reason I'm putting it on a bicycle is because when he started bike riding a lot a few years ago, he and several of his friends would bike ride all across our southern part of our state where we lived, and they had a lot of peach sheds, peach packing sheds. We had a lot of peach farms. And so they would get the peaches in and they would pack them, and they would take a lot of the peaches that they couldn't sell and they would make homemade peach ice cream. And so my husband and his friends would call it a triple dip bike ride. And they would bike ride out to the furthest peach packing shed and get a scoop of peach ice cream. And they would bike to the next one and get another scoop of peach ice cream, and bike to the third one and get a scoop of peach ice cream. And so I thought this cute little bicycle with the ice cream on it would be very appropriate, since he biked to get ice cream. So that's another reason why I wanted this for his birthday. And now I have finished it. So I have finished it in time for his birthday, and now I just have to get to fully finishing it to see if I can fully finish it in time for his birthday. But here it is. And I have a light behind me, so let me put this behind there so you can see it. But there you go. Isn't that precious? I think that came up so well, and I love the fact that the little bird is there, because here we are at the beach and we see these all over the place, and he loves to come to the beach, especially off season when he can run and bicycle and that sort of thing. So here it is. This is Sue Hillis's Summer Treats, and I've just left the words off for now. I've got to get home and measure and make sure that it fits. But there it is. It is a finish. And I added up my stitches today. And believe it or not, it took exactly 1,000 stitches today to finish this piece. I think that's awesome. So I'm happy about that. Just very, very happy to have it finished and be able to take this one off my scroll rods and say, it's done, I'm done with it. I am going to wait till I get home to remove it, just so I can measure it and make sure everything fits before I decide if I need to put any words or anything on it. But there you go, there's my finish. I really need to get busy now working on my Miss Christmas Eve, because I don't have my monthly requirements met on that yet. And I brought it just so I could work on it. However, I really would like to work on my my little stocking and get it finished. And I don't know whether I can today or not, but I think that's what's coming out next. And see if I can't finish it up this evening. And then tomorrow I could spend all day on Miss Christmas Eve and not feel guilty about it at all. And the other thing I've got to think about, though, is I'll be riding home Monday, and I need something to stitch on Monday. So I better look through my packages of what I brought and make sure I'm going to have something I can stitch on Monday in order to do that. I also worked on something for the bingo game this week that is a gift for my sister. And I have already put it away, so I won't share it with you this time. But the next time I work on it, I'll try to share that with you and just have Stephanie look away. But for now, since it's already packed up and it's across the room, I won't make you wait for me to go find it. And I will just catch you up next time. So from St. Simon's Island, Georgia, happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I am rocking my shamrocks today. Welcome. As you can tell, I'm back home. I'm in my cross-stitch studio, and I want to give you a quick update on the stitching that has occurred while I've been gone since the last time I was able to film when I finished my summer treats. So that evening I continued to stitch, and I had a goal, and I stitched pretty late into the evening. It was probably around 10:30 or 11 before I went to bed that night, because I finished my 3 French hens. This is from the Annie Beez Folk Arts 12 Days of Christmas Stockings. And I just love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Those spaces on the hens and in the numbers on all these stockings are for beads. And I'm going to bead all of mine at the end. This is what the book looks like if you're interested in it. And that completed the third stocking, which was my March start. It was one of my monthly requirements, was to start it in the month of March. I don't have a monthly requirement to finish it because I wasn't sure I would get to finish all of them every month, but so far I have been able to. So it's sort of a stretch goal for me, as we used to say at work, to get it completely finished. And I was so tickled to get to do that. So I got that taken care of. So the next thing that I stitched on after finishing my 3 French hens was I wanted to get some work done on my Miss Christmas Eve, and I knew I could take a day to do that. And so I did. And I have all my project bags that I took with me all around me. So forgive me as I reach and out of your camera to get pictures and whatnot. But this is what she's supposed to look like in the end. And I'm getting fairly close. I put in 522 stitches in her, and I'll tell you what I did. I worked on both sides. I put in some little bit of greens and some dark brown that were just ninja stitches, as I call them. I put in some of the Karen water lilies to complete one of the little parts that's stitched other than beads on one of these pretty ribbons that are going around. And then I got busy on a bow, and I was working on this one. It had just been started before, a little bit of outlining around in here, well, like one color, and I put the bulk of my stitches in here and almost finished another bow in her dress. So I looked at the pattern, at what's left on this one, and counting conservatively, just kind of eyeballing the squares per 100 stitches. A lot of them aren't full, and so I'm just guessing. But it looks to me like I have about 8 more sessions that would be requiring 500 stitches in order to finish this. I plan on trying to do more than 500 stitches a month on that one because I definitely want it finished this year. And it's just so stitch heavy. And then I've got all the beads to go as well. So you may be seeing her a lot more than once a month. You may see her twice a month. I don't know. I'm going to try that. If I get all of my monthly goals and my acrostics and my pop-up challenges, if I get all that done, then I'm probably going to put some time in on Miss Christmas Eve to push her closer to a finish. But I got my monthly requirement, which was 500 stitches, which was great. And she's one of my pieces I'm using for the Daily 30 annual challenge to put 500 stitches in one of 3 of your projects by the same designer. And my designer for that is Mirabilia, and this is a Mirabilia. So I was able to count it, which is wonderful. So now let me share with you something pretty exciting. I started working on my letter H by Nora. This is the one that my friend Donna saw at the library recently, and she said, "You're going to finish that by the end of the month." Well, Donna, I'm hoping to. I really am, because I spent one day stitching on this, and I am thrilled to tell you, I finished everything except the beads. And it was late at night, and I didn't want to start on beads, and I didn't want to do beads in the car, so I didn't. But I finished all of the crosses, so the only thing left now is to bead this, and it will be finished. So I'm going to keep this handy, and I will be pulling it back out, hopefully sometime in the very near future, to get that finished. And that'll be an unexpected finish, an unplanned finish this year, which will be fun. It'll be awesome. Okay, my son is here. We picked him up this morning, and he had a quick errand to do for work on the way out of town, which took him 2 seconds. And we headed home, and we stopped on the interstate in a town we used to live in Macon, Georgia, and got a quick sub sandwich for lunch because we are going out for Italian tonight at a beautiful restaurant in downtown Gainesville called Cotto, Cotto. And we got gift cards for that at Christmas from a couple of friends. And so I've been saving those to take JT with us so that we could enjoy some Italian together. And so we're going tonight. We have reservations at 6:30. And so right now, JT is off getting a haircut because he said that right when he saw me this morning. He said, is there any way I can get a haircut while I'm at your house? Because I haven't had a day off since I got home. He has been working almost every single day. He's had hardly any days off. And so he hasn't really had time to go get a haircut. And he wanted one. So my husband took him because the barber he likes has moved since JT was here, and he thought it would be easier just to show him where he's located than to try to tell him. And so they've kind of gone off and done that together. And then we'll go to dinner tonight, and then in the morning, while my son's working probably on his taxes, Tommy will go get Coco, and she's done very well. This is the first time she's been at the dog sitters since Fred passed away. But fortunately, there have been other dogs there with her almost every day. I think there's only been 1 or 2 days that she's been by herself. So I'm glad that she's had dogs to play with. And 2 of them were new. 2 of them I had never seen before. 3 of the dogs she's played with this week are Labradoodles that look exactly like her. You see them in pictures together, and if Coco didn't have white on her face, you would not be able to tell them apart. In fact, one of them even has a pink collar, and Coco has a pink collar, and that's how I used to always make sure I was pulling the right one out of the picture for me. And now one of the other little Labradoodles that looks just like her has a pink collar, and I don't know whether it's Prudence or whether it's oh, I forget the other one's name, but they're 2 British names. It's really cute. Anyway, she's had a good time. I've gotten pictures every day, and she seems happy. Her little tail is up, which is an indication for me that she's in a good mood, that she's having a good time, which is great. So I will tell you this too. I went thrifting and with my husband while we were at the beach, and I found 2 frames that were identical, and they're going to be really cute. Let me show you. I have 2 of these, and actually I like what's in it. It says self-care is not self-indulgence. Self-care is self-respect, and I think a lot of you would agree with that. And so I thought, well, I might wind up keeping that in one of them, or I might wind up, I have a beautiful gold oval frame. I'm going to see if that'll fit in it, and if so, I'm going to frame that in one of them because they both are identical. But aren't those pretty? And won't those make a pretty frame for a set? I think so. So I picked these up for $3 a piece, and I was really tickled with that purchase. So that's my thrifting I've been doing as well. Well, I will let you get back to what you're doing. I hope it's stitching. I'm going to put all of my bags, my project bags away, and all my roller frames away, because I took both my summer treats and my Miss Christmas Eve and Hawk Run Hollow on my roller frames. But as you can see, I took Hawk Run Hollow off the roller frame in the car on the way home because it's a big roller frame, and I knew I was encroaching in JT's space. I didn't want to hit him in the face with one of those while he was napping. So it's been a great week. We're very fortunate here. The storm came through while we were gone, and it came by our house, and there were really high winds. We had a limb in our front yard when we got home. But the good news is Jeremy's car was fine. There was no hailstorm. There were no limbs on his car because it was outside, and we didn't have room to put it in the garage. And so it was outside during the storm, and we were a little worried about it, but we didn't have any trouble. We lost power from about 4:15 in the morning until about 11. But that was small. That was a small thing. So I think that's good. I have hopes that JT will talk with you and me about the artwork he gifted me for Christmas, and maybe talk about his art and what he's doing with it right now. He's doing quite a bit of painting. He's even doing couple of pieces on commission. And I don't know if he'll want to share that or not, but I'll certainly ask him about it beforehand. I don't want to embarrass him. But I'm hoping he'll record with me while he's here, and you'll get to see him. He looks great. He's doing well, and he's loving his job. So he just completed a certification, and which puts him in line for another job, like a promotion, which is great. So things are going great there. He's happy. That makes me happy. So I'm going to say goodbye for now and wish you happy stitching. Well, I just wanted to jump back on to show you something. I showed you this finish stitched at the beach, and I mentioned that I had stitched it exactly to fit in something as a fully finished object for my husband's birthday, which is in August. And I wanted to show you the end result. I think this is precious. Don't you love it? Sits on the shelf. It's a bicycle, and inside that, instead of a clock, is now his ice cream cart, which is for his birthday. Isn't that great? I just love it. I found this little bicycle frame on Amazon.com. I looked for bicycle clocks, and this is the one I chose because I felt like this would fit in there very well, and it barely fits. Barely fits. So see, I was right not to put any words underneath it because they don't fit. And I wish I could have dropped it down just a little bit, but then the tire doesn't fit. So there is a little more space down here, but that's okay. I think for a impromptu, I think this would look great idea. This is going to be a great birthday present for my husband in August. So I wanted to share that with you, and I'll put this away. I showed my son this as I was putting it together, but he hasn't seen it fully finished yet. Anyway, I'm going to pop back off again and get busy doing some more stuff while he's working, and I'll talk to you later. Happy stitching. Good afternoon, everybody. It is March 18th, and I thought today I would show you how far I've gotten on my Hawk Run Hollow now that I've added to it. Hey, look who's come to join us.
It's your neighbor.
It's my neighbor. Here we go. All right, I was just showing everybody kind of where I had gotten to on my Hawk Run Hollow. And since I took it off my scroll frame while I was traveling, I can show you the whole thing. So that's where I got to. I have that square and one more, and I'll be finished with that one. Well, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
JT has come up to pick up his car, and I've told y'all about the car.
Finally.
Finally, he was able to get it. So I had asked him if he had time, could we talk a little bit and let him share with you the artwork that he did for my birthday and Christmas this year and tell you about them. So I'm going to turn this a little bit more so you're more in the camera.
The dog right now.
I know. Coco was so excited to see JT. She was at the dog sitter's, and when she came in this morning with her daddy, she didn't know JT was here. Mm-hmm. And so when she saw him, she got real excited. Was running all over the house. So which one do you want to start with?
I'll start with those, I guess. They're nothing special.
Talk about what prompted you to do that, or?
So here's this one. Okay. I used to do art a lot, and then I stopped, and then I started again. So this is me starting again. So I go on like cardboard or little
backing
plywood
board,
backing because it's cheap. It's like free.
Since you're just practicing
Yeah.
again.
So this is just me practicing clouds and waves. That's about it. It's waves crashing on a rock and clouds.
I like it.
So that's it.
And that's nice since we just went to the beach.
Yeah, just practicing.
That was good. Okay.
A little one, I guess. And then this is my little figure guy. I just make it little astronaut figures in different positions just for fun. I don't know. It's
just a way to practice with
Way
the
to
colors
practice.
and the brushes and
just
but I like it because it goes with this one. This is one I must say this is about my favorite. I don't know, both of these I like a lot, but this one's really neat.
oh, that's just an astronaut. So
I love the colors though.
I'm a big color person and I don't like matching. I feel like it's more artistic if you don't match and it still looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Well, I think you got a great color scheme
I
there.
don't even match my clothes most of the time.
No, that's
So,
true. Well, you do when you're really dressing up.
When I'm trying, I guess I do.
Yeah.
It's like white will match with white, and black will match with black. And if it's the same color, they match.
They match if they're anywhere close. Now this is a really
this was
unique
your
one. This was my birthday present.
Birthday present?
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of classic artwork. So this is just my version of it. Again, it's cardboard.
Cardboard.
Cardboard, cheap. It's free. So that's, can you see it?
Yeah. It's your starry night.
That's Starry Night.
But
But it's kind of 3D.
3D, yeah. You painted some of the pieces extra and glued them on for me. So now I have a 3D starry night.
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah, I think you can see it's 3D
Yeah.
effects there.
Looks really good.
Kind of pops. I don't know if the light gets it all, but can you see it all?
Yeah, you can see it real well right there.
Okay.
That's good.
All right.
Okay. Now
And then
when
the best part.
it's free. The best part's the cardboard. So now, what are you working on now? What are you doing?
Oh, now people are paying me money,
Which is great.
which is good. Not a lot, just for supplies. It's a small amount of time. So I just have people where I live at that know I do art, so they pay me to make little things.
For their houses or their apartments.
Houses, offices. I have there's a women's community center down there that is paying me supply wise, and I'm making them something. They're having a silent auction to raise money for their charity,
Fundraiser.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm doing stuff for them.
And donating it to their auction.
And that will probably be better looking. I'll take my time with it.
Yeah,
Instead of,
since you're going to try to let them make money off of it.
yeah. And it will not be on cardboard. It will be on
Canvas.
and stuff,
Okay.
and
A
framed
nice thing.
and
I got to see JT's apartment because we picked him up on our way back from the beach so he could come get his car. And you've got a 2-bedroom apartment, and 1 bedroom you've made into your art studio.
2 bedroom, 2 bath, and 1 whole room is just art studio.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I have a cross stitch studio.
Just all my in progress stuff's around there, and then all my the whole 2 closets in that room are just
Full of your supplies.
pencils, pens,
Yeah.
inks, markers, clay, all
All the things you do.
I do everything, so it's got everything in it. So
That's
Yeah.
good. That's fun. So there you get to do that in what little bit of free time you have.
little free time, not a lot, not guaranteed.
No.
So
But at
it's
least
offered, but not guaranteed.
Yeah. JT, when we picked him up, I think you've been working 8 days straight, you said?
9 days.
9 days straight.
9 days.
And so he had the day we picked him up Monday, he had Monday and today off. But he has to get back tonight by 7 o'clock. He has something to do at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
So not quite a whole day off. Anyway, but I appreciate you stopping by
Thanks for
on your way
picking
out. So
It'll be a long walk to get my car.
to get your car otherwise.
Yeah.
No, it worked out really well. And so JT took good use of the time this weekend. Got his income taxes filed and got some business taken care of, and he didn't get much downtime, but that's okay.
No.
Well, I hope you have safe travels. I'm going to sign off for now and say bye to JT, and then I'll be back later to share more with you.
Okay.
Bye. Well, thanks for letting me take a break to say bye to my son. He wanted to check his oil real quickly in his car and then head on down the road. And I didn't want to continue recording while he was out doing that. I wanted to be with him. So thank you for letting me take that hard break. But the other thing that I wanted to share with you is that while I was at the beach this week with my husband, I did a lot of stitching, and I did a lot of stitching on one of my pieces that I just had as an extra with me in case I wanted to put time on it. But I got it really close to a finish, and y'all know how I get. When I get close to a finish, I have to get it done. So last night, while I was sitting and talking with my son and we decided to watch a TV show together, I grabbed this project and I started finishing it. And by that, I mean I started beading it. So last night, I got one of the colors of beads on it. And then today, I got the second color of beads, the rest of the Krynic, the two little treasures on it, and I finished it up. So this is my letter H from Nora Corbett. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's beautiful on this fabric. I love it on this fabric. And I'll have to look at what the fabric is and let you know because it just left my brain. But anyway, this is it. I think she's very, very pretty. I'm going to put her really close where you can see. There are beads on the tendrils. There are beads on the letter. There's Krynic on the letter. There's Krynic in her wing. There are beads in the flowers that she's, the little leaves and flowers that she's playing with there. And there are beads on the flowers. Just beautiful. The bluish beads are the majority of the beads, and the yellow beads are on her dress and in the little petals that she's playing with. And the two treasures, as you can see, are two little flowers in there. But I think she's precious. I just think she's absolutely adorable. And this is my own color conversion. I took the called for specialty floss and I converted it to DMC. And then I picked my own colors of Krynic, and this was supposed to be some sort of a bead in the middle of that leg of that H, and I just felt like Krynic was better because it had a sparkle to it. And I had a Krynic that was closest to the color, closer than any beads that I had. So down in the drop box, I had to think what that's called, I will put the conversion for you there. One of my wonderful viewers has asked me about the conversion, and when I got my floss box out, I had written my conversion and put it on a piece of a card in the floss box so that I would have it. And when I got it back out, I tried to find that message so I could answer her and give her the what I had for the conversion. And as it turned out, I was able to add my Krynics and my other, beads that I did of my own. I can add that to it. So I'm just going to put it in the drop-down box here and hope that she will find it there since I can't locate her message. I don't know where it is. But anyway, for you that wanted it, I hope you find it here because I'm certainly glad to share it with you. But I think it turned out very close to what the original is supposed to look like, and I think it's adorable. So there's my letter H from Letters from Nora, and now I'll have to think about fully finishing that at some point in the very near future. So that concludes the rest of what I wanted to share with you today. So thanks for letting me jump right back in here and tell you about that finish. Now I've got to go do some paperwork. I've got to go mark my finishes. I've got to go in my calendar. I've got to go look up the temperature for my temperature chart from Stitching Mommy, and I've got to catch up on my bingo stitching from yesterday because in the car I did not have a winter project with me other than Miss Christmas Eve, and I had just stitched on it and didn't have the room in the car really to put that big roll frame in there. I mean, I'd already taken Hawker and Hollow off of the roller frame so I could stitch on it in the car. I didn't want to do that again. So I have to go do an autumn or winter project. And then I can catch up on what I was supposed to stitch for today. So I have a little catch-up work to do, which is fine. But thanks for letting me share my finish with you. Thanks for letting me share my visit with my son with you. He was so relieved to get those taxes done, and so relieved to be through with all of his work obligations, for taking care of business, I guess. So we did have some great dinners together. We got to do a little TV watching together and talk about the shows, which we like to do. And we just got to spend a little time together, which was fabulous. As you can tell, my mother's heart is very happy. So I will let you get back to stitching. I'm going to get back to my paperwork and catching up on YouTube. And where we were, we had YouTube TV, but not YouTube. Couldn't get the YouTube. So I missed a lot of my YouTube videos that I'm going to be catching up on this week. So thanks for having those out there so that I can watch them while I stitch. I hope you're having a great week, and I hope you're getting a lot of stitching done. Till we can talk again, happy stitching, everybody.